As a doctor, what's your most difficult challenge inside your practice? From my perspective, I think it's the consultation. Just getting a patient from off the fence to call you on the phone and to schedule a consultation. I don't think that we can underestimate just how much the act of calling you on the phone or filling out a form on your website and then coming into a consultation terrifies your patients. And I know this is true because I've read it in countless reviews. There's so many reviews that I've read where they say, I waited way too long, I should have done it sooner, but the consultation, just meeting with the doctor, was the thing that scared me the most. So there's 6 specific ways that you can cut through that resistance, and I do think the majority of that resistance happens before they meet you. I think once they've sat down with you, once you've gone through that consultation, they're in a totally different frame of mind. So in this video, I'm going to share 6 specific things you can do to create a video, and that video, use it as like a pre-consultation consultation video. So the 6 things real quick, and I'm going to go through all these in detail, are empathy, clarity, objections, concerns, and frequently asked questions, damaging admission copy, are they open-minded, and lastly, patient examples. When you put all 6 of these together in a video and you use that as your marketing, this is kind of like a pre-consultation consultation. Obviously, the importance of the consultation is it's specific to them, it's specific to their body, their goals, all those things directed just to them. But this is a great video that's going to cut through the majority of their resistance, put their mind at ease, give them clarity, and really increase the likelihood that they're going to schedule a consultation with you. Number 1, empathy. This is meeting the patient where they're at right now. What are they going through right now, and what have they been through? See, people care about themselves and what they're going through more than anything else. So this is number 1 because that's the best way to grab their attention, to talk directly to what they're going through right now. This is important because it says, I see you, I understand you, and then this is the pivot to how you can help them. So the most important first thing is talking directly to what they're going through. This is what you're going through right now. Maybe the symptoms they're going through right now. Maybe the state of mind. I look at it as 50-50. The psychological impact of what they're going through and the physical impact of what they're going through. Maybe it's a group of symptoms that they have, but also the state of mind, having low confidence. How long have you been going through this? So number 1 is talking to where they're at right now, and that's the best way to grab their attention. The first thing this video must do is grab someone's attention and make them be interested in the rest of it. Number 2 is clarity. Clarity is throughout this entire video, but you're just giving them as much information as possible. Now the thing about it is, I was talking to someone the other day and they said, well, people have a short attention span. Well, people don't have a short attention span if it's something that talks to their selfish desires. You use number 1 to grab their attention, saying, hey, this is the pain you're going through. This is the pleasure that I can help you experience. That grabs their attention. And then once you start creating clarity on exactly how you'll do it, and that's the key word, how, because, an explanation of it, that really puts their mind at ease. I believe in all of your marketing, there's a couple core goals, but the first goal that is really important is creating clarity. And creating clarity creates peace of mind. When someone doesn't have clarity on something, they're not going to do it. It's kind of that analogy, or it's kind of that saying, I just can't see myself doing that. When you start creating clarity and explain the entire process from right now, this exact second they're watching this video, until after they've got the benefit that you have, after they're fully recovered, that's going to give them peace of mind. And more importantly, it's going to allow them to say, I can see myself doing that. So clarity is so important. Number 3 is objections, concerns, and frequently asked questions. Now, this isn't like one section. This is going to be peppered throughout the video. You're going to talk about why people wouldn't want to do this. This is the yeah, but scenario. Every time you make a statement or you say something, you have to think that they're going to be thinking, yeah, but. They're going to counter you. Well, explain yourself. The objections is you're probably thinking this won't work for you. You probably have struck out before in the past. You're probably thinking this sounds too good to be true. Then you create clarity by explaining it. So many people avoid objections, but it's human nature. When someone's in a very uncomfortable state and they're carrying a lot of emotional and physical baggage, the first thing that they're going to think is, that doesn't work for me. I won't be able to do that. I've tried it before. So talking to objections is so important. This is also concerns. I believe there's a very slow pivot that people go through. I think they go from objections, which is resistance, kind of like the fight or flight response. They're engaged. Doesn't work for me. They're going to shrug it off. Then they're going to go to, well, this might work and it does sound reasonable, but I have these list of concerns. So then you talk to the specific concerns that they have, and then you get into frequently asked questions. I like the frequently asked questions section because it's going to talk to some questions that they have already, but it's also going to talk to things that they may not know about. And when you bring up frequently asked questions that they may not even think of, it's going to increase their perception of you. It's going to be like, wow, he's giving me information. I would have never thought of that. This is a professional that actually cares about informing me and cares about helping me and doesn't care about just selling me something. So the frequently asked questions section, what their questions are, but more importantly, questions they don't even know to ask. I love this section. Number 4 is damaging admission copy. Damaging admission copy is one of the most powerful things you can do in your marketing. And so many people say, why would I ever admit why this isn't a good fit for someone? And the thing about this is, no matter what treatment, surgery, take-home product, whichever of those things you have inside your practice, you know specifically they're not for everyone. There's a very specific group of people going through a very specific scenario that they fit for, and everybody else it doesn't apply to. So when you're doing damaging admission copy, the benefit of this is you're saying explicitly, this is who it's for, this is who it's not for. If you're X, this could be a good fit for you. If you're Y, this definitely doesn't apply to you. It's a filtering mechanism. Everybody nowadays, especially on social media where these videos are going to go, are so programmed to just assume that every time a sales message, and this is a sales message, make no mistake about that, they're so programmed that when someone says a sales message, it's just, oh, it's good for everyone. They just want to sell it to as many people as possible. The damaging admission copy, there's a lot of things inside of it. The first thing is it's going to increase their perception of you. You're going to become more trustworthy because you're saying this is who it's for and this is who it's definitely not for. But it's also a filtering mechanism. And the reason the filtering mechanism is so important is that you don't want to attract everyone. You want to attract the specific patient that you want to help, the specific niche down avatar that you're talking to. You're not talking to everyone. You're talking to a specific person that you want to help because you've helped other people just like that. So damaging admission copy, openly acknowledging who it's for, who it's not for, and the faults of it is one of the most persuasive things you can do because it really, it breaks their programming in their head. People have this resistance of, it sounds like a sales message, it sounds like they're trying to sell me something. They have all this other baggage they show up with, but when you say, it might not be a good fit for you if you're this, it's totally different than what they're used to hearing. Number 5 is, are they open-minded? This is a very diplomatic way, a very cautious way of challenging their ego. Most people are going to say, well, I'm not going to do it. This is challenging their ego, saying, are you open-minded? Would you consider this? If you could get this specific outcome, would it be worth a consultation? Because that's really all you're asking them for at the beginning, is you're just asking for 20, 30 minutes, maybe 60 minutes of their time to sit down with you, learn more about what they're going through, discover their goals, and see if it would be right for them. So many people, like I mentioned earlier, you cannot underestimate how much this terrifies them. I made a joke with a client of mine the other day where it was a surgical consultation, and I said, people have the level of resistance and fear like you're going to be operating on them during the consultation. But when you really think about it, the consultation, it's just a conversation. And one of the things that I do in all the content that I make with my clients is I explicitly acknowledge that using this type of formula. I say, this is just a conversation. I don't even know if it's be a good fit for you or if it won't be a good fit for you. Damaging admission copy, I'd have to learn more about you. And really the goal of this consultation is just to educate you and give you clarity on what your decision is. It's a totally different conversation than if they think that you're going to be selling them something. So that goes to the, are they open-minded? I think any rational, reasonable person, if you outline all that and then you ask, would you be open-minded to that? Would that be something that you would consider? Would 30 to 60 minutes of your time to go through this consultation, do you think that would maybe give you a different perspective that would improve your life? There's no rational person that would say no to that. This is a very gentle way of challenging their ego, and it's an authority thing too. You're saying, I've helped people just like you. Are you open-minded to be just like them? And then lastly, number 6 is patience. This is patient examples. Now, a lot of doctors, and you might be doing this already, have the classic before-after photo that they put up on their website, they put up on social media. That is cool because there's contrast there. So it's clear as day, before, after. But when you create a story about those patients, that's where it really gets compelling. You can do all of this. You can have empathy, meeting them where they're at. You can have clarity of the entire process in detail. I just filmed a 20-minute video with a client of mine. All clarity. Objections, concerns, frequently asked questions. You could have 20 of those. You could have damaging omission copy. They could make it through to are they open-minded? They could get all the way to number 5 and say, you know what? All this sounds good. I've never been talked to like this before in my life. I'm feeling a specific feeling of just a vibe off of this video. I want to meet with you. The thing that'll send it over the edge is the patient examples. The patient examples are so important because of 2 formulas, and I've made a bunch of other videos about this, but it's the if-then-how formula, before-after path. Before-after path. They're before right now. The patients you helped were before. The patients that you're talking about, though, are also the after. You got them the outcome. And you're going to show and you're going to say clarity exactly how you did it. So patient examples really contextualize all this and humanize it. Let's say your patient that you're talking to is a 45-year-old man, or let's say a 35-year-old man who's losing a lot of his hair and is single. If you have a hair restoration video with a patient that says, you know, I was 35 years old, was losing my hair, I just didn't have any self-confidence, I didn't go out, I just was single. That story of that patient, when that patient watching it in their same position, they're going to see it, it's going to be emotionally compelling because they're going to say, aha, they're just like me. I can see a way out of it. All of this makes a lot more sense. So I have some examples of all 6 of these with 4 specific doctors I want to go through. 1's a plastic surgeon, 2 is an orthopedic surgeon, 3 is a dermatologist, 4 is a dentist. I've got some notes written out here. So let's do plastic surgeon mommy makeover. Open by addressing the emotional and physical toll of pregnancy and childbirth. This is meeting them where they're at right now. This really isn't in my experience, it really isn't a physical body thing. It's more of a emotional. So that's why I say it's equal parts psychological and physical. This is talking to, and one thing that all of these are going to talk to is their self-worth as an individual. So you're talking their self-worth, their self-confidence. Now obviously their body, and all of these are physical, play a major part in that, but the main thing that I talk about in all of this, and you'll see in these examples, is the relationship they have with themselves, what's going on inside their head. That's the most important thing. These are just, the cause of that. So empathy, you open by addressing the emotional and physical toll of pregnancy and childbirth. That's meeting them where they're at. Number 2, you're going to create clarity. Actually, let me flip this over to make it a little bit easier. Number 2, you're going to create clarity. So you're going to walk them through the entire mommy makeover process from the initial consultation to recovery. So the reason that this walkthrough is so important is because they don't even know what this process looks like. You're telling where they're at right now. You're talking about the outcome you can get them, but you're going to go through the entire process in detail. I have a 7-part formula, and I have a video on my channel of the framework that I use for my videos, but you're going to talk about what the consultation entails, what questions they would have, what happens the day before or the weeks leading up to surgery, what happens the day of surgery, what happens immediately after surgery, how long does a surgery take, who's working with them, who's working with you during the surgery, what does the recovery process look like. All those things create clarity on what a mommy makeover would be about. Now, the thing inside that when you're creating clarity is one of the top concerns is what's the recovery going to be like. So when you create clarity of exactly this is what the recovery schedule looks like, that's going to put their mind at ease. The next one is preemptive objections, concerns, and frequently asked questions. Go through all these. What objections would they have? One objection that I see a lot is it's guilt. I don't want to be selfish. Talk to that. It's not selfish. The concerns, what are the concerns of surgery? I'm a mom. That makes me nervous. And lastly, frequently asked questions. What are some frequently asked questions they have? I like to frame this all through the patient examples. The next one is damaging admission copy. The damaging admission copy I have on this one is it's really that it wouldn't be a good fit if you're still considering to have more children. Now, it could be something as simple as that. I've made that video with my clients before, and that was the one thing. It'd be like, really, the only person it wouldn't be a good fit for is a mom that plans to have more kids. That's a very specific thing. Like I said earlier, it goes back to contrast. Yes or no? Yes, I'm planning to have more kids. So I'm gonna pause this for now, and I'll come back maybe in a couple of years and talk to you about it. Versus no, I'm absolutely not having any more kids. I'm ready to do it. And then the next one, are they open-minded? It just talks to them in a way that it encourages them. Say, again, this is just a conversation. Are you open-minded to sitting down and seeing how I can help you like I helped all my other community of moms? And then lastly, patient examples would probably be, of all of these, for this specific audience, moms, the most persuasive and compelling thing you could do. So I would really lean on that, your community of patients. And I wouldn't even say community of patients, I'd say our community of moms. Does this message resonate with you? They're going to be able to see themselves and what they're going through and what these other patients went through much easier through the lens of this patient than through all this other stuff. So for this specific audience, moms, really lean into storytelling. This is the story of, it could even be one mom, it could be 3 moms, it could be 10 moms, it could be an interview with a couple moms, it could be a written piece, a written interview. That storytelling to that patient is the thing that's going to convert the best with that specific audience. The next one is an orthopedic surgeon for a hip replacement. I'm going to kind of just riff through this. I'm not going to really refer to my notes. I'll just go through this real quickly. Empathy meets, and the patient that I'm talking to in this one is an older patient, a grandparent. Empathy is meeting them where they're at right now. It's talking like, how many times do you have to tell your grandkids, no, you can't go for a walk because you're in pain? That's a very specific thing. That's a very real concern that these patients have. It's that I'm not being able to spend time with my grandkids because I'm in so much pain and I can't walk and I can't keep up with them. That's a real thing, a very specific way that you open it to meet where they're at. The next thing is clarity. You're going to walk through the entire process. This is how it works. These are the questions that you would have. The thing about this particular patient on a hip replacement is, in my opinion, you're not really talking to, there's 3 generations here. You're not really talking to the grandparent or that person that you're going to be operating on. You're talking to their kids, and the grandkids come in because that's a big driver of why they decide to do this. Another big driver of this is they don't want to be put into a retirement home. And that may sound weird, but I've heard that story many, many times when you read reviews, when you talk to doctors, that they say, I'm getting up there in age, it's very difficult for me to walk, this is a concern, my kids don't think I can take care of myself. So this empathy thing, really starting with that, is very important. Clarity, gonna do a walkthrough of the whole thing. I would be doing all this conversation directly to their kids, because their kids are the ones that are going to see it, because they're the ones that are going to be probably helping them out and taking care of them. And then next is objections, concerns, and frequently asked questions. This is a major deal because anytime you're dealing with someone that's older, their body's more fragile, they have a lot more concerns, let's just admit it, when you get older, you're a lot more stubborn. So there needs to be a very diplomatic way of talking to these specific things. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but when you go through patients and you say, our patient, let's say Rob, had these concerns, and here's what he thinks about afterwards, like recovery. One thing on the hip replacement that's so important is, you know this, if you're an orthopedic surgeon watching this, but so many people are caught off guard just how much or just how quickly they can get back walking. That's a major concern. I don't want to be bedridden. So talking to that. Next is damaging admission copy, who it's for, who it's not for. You know the specifics of that. That's something you can say. Some of the patients that we went through, this is why it was a good fit for them. This is why it wasn't a good fit for them. Are they open-minded? Again, talking to that stubbornness. And lastly, patient examples. You see these in like shoe companies. Shoe companies that advertise directly to seniors, they say, it's given me a totally different, totally new lease on life because I'm so much more active. My mind, you know, your mind, being outdoors, being active, physical activity is one of the best things you can do to create peace of mind. So talking to that in your example, you're not selling a hip replacement, you're selling the lifestyle that this hip replacement will give them. Eliminating pain, eliminating regret. of telling their family they can't do anything, eliminating regret of not being able to travel as much as they wanted to, eliminating regret of I can't even go down into my garage or into my basement because the staircase, I'm in so much pain I can't even walk down it. Simple little things that are easy to contextualize, and they all come back to empathy. The next one I have here is dermatologist, a 30-year-old woman with acne. I like to use this example because it's a very real example that I've heard from clients that I've worked with. It's kind of similar to the hair restoration story that I talked about. I'm creating this I look at like if you're a 30-year-old woman that has acne, the first question I would ask is, are you married or in a relationship? Are you single? Because those are two very different people with two very different states of mind. This is going to sound weird, but don't take it the wrong way. If you're someone that's in a relationship or someone that's married, your acne may not bother you as much as if you were single. If you're single, it's something that's really going to weigh on you because it's really going to be something that inhibits you from having a social life. And again, it could be one simple little thing like that. So opening with empathy, saying something to the effect of, what impact is your adult acne having on your social life, your confidence at work? Are you more outspoken like in a meeting, or do you kind of just retreat in the corner? Do you want to hide from people? That very real thing, and that's why I said everything leads back to what's going on in their mind, their self-confidence. That's what we're trying to sell here. Is we're trying to sell the lifestyle of being a more confident, comfortable, beautiful person. Next is clarity. You're going to create clarity on, listen, I know exactly what you're going through. This is a good spot here where you can bring in open-minded. I'm sure and this is why all these don't go in a particular order, they just need to be rearranged. Are they open-minded? How open-minded are you to learning more about this? If you're like most of our patients, then you've probably struck out with a dozen other things. You spend a ton of money, and let's be honest, the more money you spend, the more you try to do something, you get your hopes up, it makes you feel more and more defeated. That's a very friendly way of saying, are they really open-minded? How badly do they want this outcome? Next is objections, concerns, frequently asked questions. Objections is going to be like, the thing about objections is you're not talking about what your objections are, you're talking to what their objections would be. And their objections would be, yeah, I've done all kinds of stuff, you're probably just like it. They're carrying the baggage of all the failure they've had in the past. So by talking to the objections, concerns, and frequently asked questions, you can again explicitly talk to your patients. The majority of our patients have tried all these creams, all these different things. They've read they've watched this video, they've read this blog post, and they got no results. In fact, they had worse results because sometimes it had a worse reaction to their skin. Their state of mind was terrible because they had low confidence. They thought, oh, maybe this will work. This looks really good. It didn't work. They feel even worse. That's talking that. Damaging emission copy, exactly what I said. And then lastly, patient examples. The thing about a patient example is you only need one patient example. You don't need 100 patient examples. You need one really good patient example that matches directly up with your avatar. So if you have another, let's say 30, 35-year-old woman that was single, you did this treatment on her, just think of who's the patient you want to help the most, because who's the patient that you've helped the most, that you enjoyed the most. Then create content about them and just weave the story with all this in it. And then lastly is a dentist, and this is going to be an adult with tooth rot. Again, I like to segment everything. When you're marketing, you have to segment everyone. When you're dealing with tooth rot, are you talking with someone that's in a relationship, or are you talking with someone that's single? Again, two totally different conversations. So empathy, the empathy with tooth rot is, there's a very real, and this is where I kind of get into the psychology of the smile, there's a very real proven impact that your smile has on your state of mind. People who smile more are happier. Simple enough. The world perceives them as nicer people. People that are constantly frowning, it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the empathy thing is, do you know the emotional toll that just not being able to smile because you're very self-conscious about your tooth rot or crooked teeth or whatever it may be, do you know the impact that it's having? Of course you do. Then you could weave into a story about your patients. This is a patient that was in that same position. You can see the before and after, just the body language of a patient you took a photo of who has rotted teeth versus is smiling. There's little things like in your eyes, around your eyes, little subtle things that show that they're a different person. Next, create clarity. How exactly does it work? How do you get that outcome? How your smile is an investment in your happiness and an investment in your self-confidence. Objections, concerns, and frequently asked questions. What are some common objections that they have? Probably the most common objection you'll hear is, costs way too much money, I don't deserve it. Hit those two head on. Doesn't cost as much as you think. Here's exactly how much it costs with a breakdown of it. And you do deserve it. Everybody deserves that self-confidence. And just imagine what the world would be like if everybody had that level of self-confidence and how much better off everything would be. Concerns, frequently asked questions. Concerns for this is how long it will take, how painful will it be. Frequently asked questions kind of matches up with that. Next, damaging admission copy. This is more of the technical side of things. You as a doctor know who it's a good fit for, who it's not a good fit for. Split it up. Say it's X or Y. If you're someone here, it would be a good fit for you. We should talk about it. If you're this person, it's probably not a good fit for you. How many times have you gone through a consultation when you know at the end it's just not a good fit and there was no match? Put that out there. It's a filtering mechanism. And next, are they open-minded? Here you're going to, gently ask them, how much do you want a great smile? The smile obviously bothers you. Your teeth really bother you. How much do you want this? Because we can help you get it. There's a lot of marketing that talks about how quickly someone can do it. And you see it, like in a day or something like that. That talks to, are they open-minded? If we could get you this in this amount of time with this outcome, would you be open-minded to sitting down to learn more about it? Which rational person would say no to that? And then lastly, like I talked about, patient examples, before and after photos. Interviews would be great. The interview that I would have is really two questions. What was your state of mind and social life like? Or what was your state of mind, social life, and self-worth like before you had this done? And what's it like after? They're two completely different people. So I hope you enjoyed those 4 examples. Anytime you want to get someone off the fence and get them into that consultation, use these 6 things. I guarantee you, empathy, clarity, objections, concerns, frequently asked questions, damaging admission copy, are they open-minded, and patient examples will be the best piece of marketing you can ever create for your practice. I look at it as a pre-consultation consultation. I hope you found this workshop informative. If you need help with your marketing, I can definitely help you with that. I'd love to have a conversation with you. My primary thing that I work on is videos. Videos, to me, in my opinion, based on my experience, are the best marketing you can do for your practice. I do long form videos and then I do short form videos. This is a very long form video. Most of the videos we'll make about this are going to be 10 to 15 minutes long. We can run them as ads. Short form videos are what we're going to put on social media. They're great short conversations with patients. So 30 to 60 seconds, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, they're going to be vertical videos. Both of them are important. Both of them are the best marketing you can do for your practice, bar none. I've seen the results firsthand. So if you want to have a conversation with me about that, would love to learn more about your practice, learn more about what marketing you're working on now, and talk to you about how these can be really beneficial to you, your practice, but most importantly of all your community of patients. You can call or text me on the phone directly. My cell phone is 310-774-7311. Look forward to talking with you, and hope you found all of this informative, and look forward to creating one with you.